Welcome to the very first YouTube video for Their Story brand, a rebranded project, I would call it, from Their Story podcast, which I had launched 3 years ago, almost to the date. Now this is being recorded in March of 2026, and I think I launched Their Story podcast in like February, maybe March of 2023. Listen, this is going to be a very unstructured kind of flying by the seat of my pants here for this first YouTube video, but I really want to establish why I started this, why it's important to me, why I think it could be important to you, and as a matter of fact, why it is important to you. And I would venture to say that I am doing this for the purpose of helping as many amateur athletes as I can, or individuals. It doesn't have to be an athlete. Anyone that wants to build their personal brand and wants to drive opportunity, because I think anyone is capable of brand partnerships and amplifying their personal brand to a degree that they want, because realistically it's not that important. I would say grades are more important. I would say family is more important, and being present and friends and everything that you could want as an amateur athlete is probably more important than what I'm going to talk about, which is crazy, right? So why do this? Why launch something if you don't believe that it's the most important thing? Well, because I've been in the industry for nearly a decade. I've been in amateur baseball, and I've seen firsthand that brand and your social media and everything can play a huge part in who you are. But realistically, if we took away iPhones or whatever kind of phone, if we took away social media, if we took away laptops, then all you have is your personality. All you have is your family, your friends. Probably, I think some people would say, and I'm guessing a lot of amateur athletes are going to be watching this, so probably your parents would say that these are the good old days. Those were the good old days when you didn't have cameras and phones and being connected to anyone and everything at any given moment. So I think that's where I kind of contradict myself a little bit. Is if I don't think it's the most important thing, why am I doing it? Because after you get all of those things settled, after all those things are squared away, once you are a nice, kind human being to your family, friends, and you have your grades in order or whatever that looks like, then we can have some fun, right? Then we can start to be creative. Then we can amplify our personal brands. And I think that's important because there are plenty of opportunities out there. I think we see the easy names like the Bryce Harper or Max Clark in terms of baseball, Anthony Edwards in terms of basketball, Caitlin Clark, WNBA, and really she built her brand in college at the University of Iowa. There are countless others, and usually these athletes are at the top of their game. They're in the 0.00001 percentile of their sport, and I just fail to believe that there are athletes that are in the other 99%, or that aren't at the top of their game or their industry or wherever, that can also drive opportunity. Because if there's one thing that I've come to know about personal brand and brand partnerships and marketing, it's if you have an audience, if you have a following, then you can play the game too. And I want this game to be accessible to every single person that watches this and who that doesn't watch this. Maybe you're getting your information elsewhere, and there are plenty of other places to get your information. And that's kind of leads me to another topic. Is I want to be a student just like all of you watching this video. I don't want to be the end-all be-all authoritative figure. Funny enough, right before I recorded this video, I've been watching a 5-hour course on personal brand, and that is from Caleb Ralston. Caleb Ralston is kind of the guy behind Gary Vee and Alex Hormozy. He worked with them, and if you don't know who those names are, if you Google them, there will probably be a million results on these individuals because they are content kings. They are the people when, at least in the business space and content space, when you think of Gary Vee and when you think of Alex Hormozy, you think of incredible brands from the business side and personal brands. They are figures, they're icons in this space. So to have someone behind them like Caleb Ralston branch off, do his own thing, that's instant credibility. That's instant. That's someone right there that can. He is the educator, right? He is the person that has lived it, breathed it, and I have to an extent, to a very small extent. I failed to think that I have learned everything. I don't wanna believe that I've learned everything, because I like learning. I enjoy learning. I love learning, and I want to keep learning. And then I will throw my findings back at you, and I will always give credit where it's due. Again, I am no expert in anything, and I don't know if I want to be an expert, because I think if you're an expert, where do you go from there? So I want to be a student just like you guys. There are things that you will hear my opinions. You will hear things that I feel like I'm pretty confident in saying, and but I need to gain your trust, and that's the most important thing to me. Is if I don't credit where I heard things from, if I don't tell you guys that I just learned something and then set it into a camera, and don't say that, hey, I just picked this up, or I just found this out, or I just learned this, then it's ingenuine, and I can't continue to do this if I'm not being genuine, if I'm not being truthful, if I'm not being honest. So I want to be a student too. I want to educate, but I also want to be someone who is in the weeds, who is learning, who is thinking, who is brainstorming, always trying to think of good creative ideas for you, but doing that as a student of personal brand as well. Personal brand is always going to evolve, so that's why I want to be a student. I want to learn, I want to keep learning, and maybe someday in the long future, I can call myself an expert. I don't want to be an expert right now. I want to be a student, and I want to learn. So if you were around for the Their Story podcast days, that was a great time. I enjoyed doing the podcast. It'd only been about 19, 20 episodes maybe. 18, 19 is probably the accurate number. We might have got to 20, but I enjoyed it. I talked to some amazing people, and I did it with the purpose of offering a space where amateur athletes can come, listen, and it not necessarily be a sports podcast. I interviewed athletes, I interviewed coaches, I interviewed friends who played sports and former athletes and stuff like that, but I never wanted it to be a sports podcast. I wanted it to be life lessons through sports. So I wanted it to be everything that you don't see from an athlete, the mental stuff, the health, the what's going on outside of, off the field, and that stuff was really important to me at the time, and I think it still is, right? With Their Story brand, it's going to be a healthy amount of lifestyle, motivation, wise words that I've learned throughout the years, because I think that's super important. How I'll mix that in, I'm not entirely sure, but that's something that I want to do. That's something that I've never given up on, is in this whole world of, being connected and the spotlight on you as an athlete, and just anybody. Like, it's not easy. So the motivation that I can provide, the wise words about life that I can provide, I think will go hopefully very, very far and resonate with the audience just as much as the personal brand stuff. So I think that covers it. I think that is a very good first step and first place to start. I know it was kind of jumpy and scattery and there wasn't much structure to this video, and I didn't want it to be. I don't think you would have gotten the honest, genuine thoughts right off the bat if it was a very structured video. So I'm glad that I can just talk to you guys. We'll actually talk to a black hole that will then get uploaded and then to you guys. So I'm no expert at this in terms of talking to a camera. I've never been good at it. I urge you to ask any of my journalism school classmates from Michigan State. I was not great at talking into a camera. I wasn't back then. I'm still not. But that's where you get the reps in and you keep trying, and hopefully I become super comfortable with this someday. So I appreciate your patience. If I seem scattered and don't know what's going on at a certain time, or I lose my train of thought, you're gonna get that. So just be prepared for that. But overall, I just think that personal brand at scale with amateur athletes is the mission. Everyone has a personal brand, whether they like it or not. Someone once said, if anyone in the world can say anything about you, then you have a personal brand. And I truly believe that. But we can choose to amplify our personal brand through our social media, through our interactions with others. And I think that's important for everybody to know, is that personal brand at scale, brand opportunities at scale, partnerships at scale. Like, I think that we can do this. We can build something really cool. I don't think you need to be the LeBron James or Shohei Ohtani or Caitlin Clark or Ronaldo or Messi, or you don't need to be those figures in your sport or in your industry. I think we can create brand opportunities and brand partnerships for, a random person in the middle of Chicago that has 100 followers on Instagram, right? If those 100 followers are sticky enough and they trust and they buy into what that person is saying, you don't need 100 million followers. You just need 100 really loyal followers, and some brand will take up a shot on you. Maybe a coffee shop, maybe a used records store, or a used sporting goods store, right? You don't need the Nikes all the time. You don't need the Mizunos or the Wilson or the Lululemon or Adidas or you name it. That's great, and we can always shoot for that, right? That's it's completely subjective. Whatever you want, I'm gonna try to help get you there. That's my goal, through education, through content. But I also think that the person who watches this, there's an opportunity for them. There's an opportunity for you. So let's go create opportunities. Thanks for watching, and look forward to many more of these. Thank you.